to let you know that it's look, this may sound like a joke, but the social distancing thing is very, very important, because the less direct contact you have with people, the less likely the virus is to spread, and the flatter the curve of infection, and the quicker we get over this. So guys, in addition to all the things we do, let's adhere to the protocols. Gentlemen, let's start with the headlines. What do you have for me, Nathan?
Well, the Finder says, God heal our land. President calls on clergy to pray against coronavirus. NIA implements social distancing at registration centers. And there's a picture of people spaced out on a compound somewhere. GPHA suspends cruise ships but did not ban cargo ships. And fuel prices, 63% taxes and margins make big drop difficult, CBOD speaking.
Front page of the Daily Graphic paper. These aren't normal times. Seek God's face for restoration. President tells Christians over COVID-19. NDC sues EC. 4 nominated to Supreme Court. Cool Easter cancellation will result in huge losses.
The Chronicle says, after voting with their feet on the streets, NDC finally runs to Supreme Court over new voters register. Akufo-Addo calls on God to solve coronavirus, and Asebu meets the chairman in the China shop.
Front page of the Herald newspaper this morning. No Friday mosque, no Sunday church, as Akufo-Addo summons clergymen over surging COVID-19. Opuni trial judge's partisan comment lands in appeals court. NIA rubbishes Ghana Medical Association over coronavirus fears.
The New Weekend Crusading Guide says COVID-19 prayer will heal and raise Ghana up. President Akufo-Addo there as he joins clergy to intercede for Ghana. MPP youth invades mining concession in Enyinam, Magdan to fund local production of hand sanitizers, and former WHO deputy director appointed coordinator for coronavirus program.
Front page of the Daily Guide paper headline I'm excited about personally. Mensa Bonsu for Supreme Court. 4 soldiers, 5 civilians arrested for robbery. Quarantine traveling MPs, majority leader. COVID-19 hits 11 as Nana picks coronavirus chief.
Let me take you online.
Well, then I have a few more. If Nathan has run out, I have a few more. Statesman's front page says, we are not in ordinary times. President urges Ghanaians to turn to God and observe COVID-19 safety measures. Akufo-Addo wants to rig 2020 elections with coronavirus disease. NDC raises alarm. That is just Nisi Dunketia. And on the front page of the Gold Street Business, Bernard, BOG announces monetary stimulus to contain COVID-19's economic impact. COVID-19 threatening Ghana's pineapple exports to the EU market. It's also on the front page of the paper.
Let's take you online. CitiNewsroom.com. We've not violated Akufo-Addo's directives on public gatherings. This is the NIA. Meanwhile, call NIA EC to order over registration charged to the president. Also, NIA sued for continuing Ghana card registration amid COVID-19 outbreak. Also, Akufo-Addo's ban on public gatherings ill-prepared. This is the NDC Sadun Ketia. We have a graph on our website on coronavirus cases in Ghana. Now the figure has gotten to 11. It's spiked from 2 on the 11th, and today the 20th we are at 11. If you go to also on that same website, former WHO deputy director appointed coordinator for coronavirus response program in Ghana. A very welcome appointment indeed. CitiBusinessNews.com. Impact of COVID-19. Hoteliers call on government for tax cuts to sustain their operations. Also, traders record high sales amid panic shopping over COVID-19 fears. Meanwhile, aviation minister impressed with safety measures at KIA cargo section. And Unipass system not ready for takeoff. It's still facing challenges. This is the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. MyJournalline.com. Parliament OK's report to pass imposition of restrictions bill and a certificate of urgency. Also, NMC cautions media against making jokes about coronavirus disease. And WHO debunks 14 common myths about coronavirus disease. Now, globally, California is on lockdown. The Washington Post reports California governor orders state residents to stay home. Meanwhile, China records no new local cases for second day. So the good news is coming from the China side. Bloomberg Africa leads with South Africa's biggest rate cut in more than a decade in charts. Meanwhile, Nigeria says virus may trigger foreign exchange realignment. Global debt toll tops 10,000. John Hopkins says this is a virus update. And in fact, I have the John Hopkins chart. Gentlemen, yesterday when I read this chart for you, the number of cases was 218,000. This morning, the number of cases is 244,523.
Yeah.
And for the first time, deaths in Italy have surpassed deaths in China.
Yeah.
Italy has 3,405 people dead. China 3,132. Iran 1,284. We have a chart on our website also showing the updates. Yeah. So let's start with the Ghanaian
but
story.
I want you to start with the NIA.
The NIA. So there's a lot of NIA stories on citinewsroom.com. Let me start with what they themselves have said.
Yes.
And then I'll tell you what the NDC has taken to court. And then I'll also show you what the Shraj is saying about the NIA. So we've not violated Akufo-Addo's directive on public gatherings according to the NIA. Stories by Jonas Nyabo. It says the National Education Authority insists that its decision to carry on with a mass registration exercise in the Eastern region does not violate the directives of the President concerning public gatherings in the wake of the outbreak of coronavirus. The authority has come under intense criticism from the public after going ahead with its Ghana card registration despite an announcement by President Akufo-Addo for social distancing to be observed as part of efforts to stop the spread. In a response to the criticism, the NIA said, given that it is observing the relevant protocols concerning social distancing, it does not find it necessary to go ahead. It does not find necessary to stop the registration as it does not find its decision to go ahead with the registration as being against the directives of the president. In a statement on his Facebook page on Thursday, the NIA insisted that, quote, its conduct does not violate the president's directive on public gatherings. On the contrary, the NIA's decision is harmonious with both the letter and spirit of the equally compelling directives of His Excellency the President, that businesses and other workplaces can continue to operate but should observe prescribed social distances between patrons and staff. In fact, that story is also in the Finder. Do they have any photo of the social distancing they claim they are doing?
They've shared photos of that on their Facebook page. And
how does that look?
Bernard, look, everything that the NIA says is up. I want to be nice this morning. Look, Bernard, there is no online appointment scheme. So you cannot book an appointment, unlike the passport office where they know that on this day we are handling 25 people. So when nobody wakes up this morning and says, I have an appointment at Osikan registration center, so I will not show up. People just go there. Now the distancing happens in the room where the registration is happening. You understand? So within maybe the church building or the classroom that they are using, they can space you. But outside of that, the job that you are doing is still enabling a social gathering outside of the building.
Let me give you two stories. So, NIA sued for continuing Ghana card registration amid coronavirus outbreak. So, the story says, two citizens of Ghana have sued the NIA over the mass registration and issuance of the Ghana cards to Ghanaians in the AC region following the outbreak of the coronavirus. The plaintiffs, Kevo Mark Oliver and Emmanuel Akumate Okra, argue in their writ that the continuous registration and issuance of the Ghana card in the Eastern region has a strong tendency to aggravate the spread of the virus. They are, among other things, seeking an interlocutory injunction restraining the NIA from continuing with the exercise until the coronavirus has been eliminated. Then another story from the the Shraj.
Yes.
Call NIA EC to order. Shraj to the president. Story by Ni Late. The Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice has raised concern over the insistence of both the NIA and the EC to respectively go ahead with the Ghana card and the compilation of the new voters register amid the coronavirus situation in the country. Shraj in a statement indicated that the two state institutions' disregard for the president's directive is in breach of international and regional human rights instruments and the sustainable development goals for which Ghana is a state party and a signatory, as well as existing World Health Organization precautionary measures aimed at containing and combating COVID-19. The Commission therefore wants the president to order the bodies to, without delay, suspend the planned activities to uphold the rights-based approach in protecting the right to health of all persons in Ghana in accordance with law.
You see, Bernard, the thing is not a biometric sensor.
Yes.
So Aloski puts his fingers there, goes away. They don't clean it.
They don't clean it, and then
because it's a sensor. The next person comes and puts his fingers there.
The more we delve into this, the more ridiculous the position
NIA,
of
they should stop it.
Yes.
The NIA, they should stop it at all.
Just relax. Let's go to other stories. I'll give you a chance later to fire.
This dilution
now,
of the president's
what else can you report this morning?
Well, we are praying, Bernard.
Yes.
We are praying. These aren't normal times.
Yes.
Front page of the Daily Graphic, and it comes with some very nice photos. Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams is here. Apostle Professor Poku Nyina, Archbishop Dagde Hayward Mills, Reverend Bonaventure Akufo. Everybody was there, Bernard. And the story by Donald Atuta Patem says that President Nana Danko Akufo-Addo has stated that the ravaging coronavirus is so extraordinary that it calls for the people of God to seek the face of the one true God for healing and restoration. So these are not ordinary times, eminent clergy, and in such times, a country whose population is predominantly Christian must seek the face of one true God for healing and restoration.
Any other story from your side, Nathan?
Well, I was going to give you a take on that, but let's just move it on. Let's get to page 8 of the Finder. And Henrietta Mensah Bonsu Kolendi, 2 others nominated to Supreme Court. Now, the president has nominated 4 persons for appointment onto the Supreme Court bench. The persons include 3 females and a female, and they are Justice Clemens Henyega, Justice Isifutanko Amidu, both justices of the appeals court, Emmanuel Yoni Kolendi, a private legal practitioner, and Professor Henrietta Mensah Bonsu, law lecturer. They are to replace justices on the apex court bench who are due for retirement. The Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Quay, made the announcement in the House yesterday, and the Supreme Court justice nominees are expected to be vetted by Parliament's appointment committee in the coming days.
Now, hoteliers call on government to cut taxes to sustain their operations. This is on citybusinessnews.com. Story says the Ghana Hotels Association has called on the government to consider some tax cuts for its members as the spread of the virus pandemic takes a toll on the operations. Some hotels have started laying off casual workers in a bid to sustain the operations due to huge drop in patronage. However, traders record high sales amid panic shopping over COVID-19 fears. This is citybusinessnews.com. With over 200,000 coronavirus cases recorded globally, some individuals who are uncertain about when the wave will end have resorted to panic buying. This action has become necessary, especially in countries where there's a total lockdown to contain the spread. Now, Ghana has 11 cases with no death yet. Some citizens already are alarmed and have resorted to panic buying to stock enough for tougher times. At the Mamprobi Tuesday market in Accra, traders confirmed that their goods were moving at a faster pace than normal due to increased patronage. Then the other issues are given. For example, the Ghana Union Traders Association and the Ghana Electrical Dealers, as well as the Aboso Ghana spare parts dealers, have all raised alarm over the possible shortage of goods by May 2020 as they are unable to import anymore from China.
Well, let me take you to the NDC now. If you don't, that's one of the main.
No, I read that they've sued the EC.
Yes.
And they've also sued the NI.
Okay, then let me do finance.
They've sued the EC, yes.
Because there's a lot happening in the financial space.
No, actually, read that. What I read was 2 people suing EC and NI separately. Yes. So this is different.
Yes. So
this is different. Sorry.
This is the NDC as a political party dealing with the EC in its own way.
Yes.
So NDC sues EC over voter registration exercise on page 13 of the Daily Graphic.
Yeah.
The biggest opposition party, the National Democratic Congress, has gone to the Supreme Court to challenge moves by the EC to use only the Ghana card and the Ghanaian passport as proof of identification for registration into the voters register. In its writ to invoke the jurisdiction of the court to interpret the 1992 Constitution, the NDC argued that the EC's decision to exclude the existing voter identification card as one of the proofs of identification was unconstitutional. It is therefore seeking to convince the Supreme Court to either declare the upcoming registration exercise as unconstitutional, or in the alternative, order the EC to include existing voters' ID cards as one of the legal identification documents for the exercise. Now, this was filed yesterday by the lawyer for the NDC, Mr. Godwin Kojo Tamaklo, joined to the suit as defendants at the EC and the Attorney General. Okay,
now let's move to other stories.
Let's stay with some elections. And the MPP primary in the Kwadaso constituency will not come on as scheduled on April 25 if constituency party executives insist on using a new constituency polling station executives album for the primary. A group of concerned MPP delegates at the constituency has asked the national executives of the party to clarify and declare within 7 days which album will be used for the primary to inform the next line of action. Mr. Frank Ejebedu, leader of the concerned MPP delegates and a delegate of the Kwadaso proper electoral area, also demanded that the national executives of the party must make copies of the said album available to all contestants vetted for the primary in order to target the true and proper delegates for their campaign. So
now, an economist is asking the government to provide a stimulus package for industries in the face of COVID-19. Professor Eric Osesibe on GNA, Associate Professor of Economics at the University of Ghana, made the call, said the government must carefully target some key industries, particularly those that were export-oriented and were likely to be affected by the global shock. Now what government can do is stimulate the economy. Monetary policy and fiscal policy can come together to provide some kind of stimulus package, largely making credit accessible to businesses that are likely to suffer challenges, he said in an interview with the Ghana news agency.
And one of those businesses are the pineapple exporters. And on the front page of the Gold Street Business says that COVID-19 is threatening exports to the EU market. The lockdown in Western Europe due to the continuous impact of the novel coronavirus disease infection is threatening international trading activities as Ghana is set to record lower revenues from its non-traditional exports to the European market this year. One of such major exports to the EU is pineapple, which is still trying to recover from a contraction in export sales to the EU in 2018 through concerted action by the Ghana Export Promotion Authority. According to a competitor analysis report released by GEPA, Ghana exported close to $33 million worth of pineapples in 2018, with France the largest destination for Ghana's pineapples. And we all know what is happening in France at the moment. So yeah.
Let me give you a summary of what's happening in various African countries. A Reuters report on the East African. So it says, WHO has warned of the risk that COVID-19 overwhelms strained public health systems in sub-Saharan Africa. Now, a selection of measures countries are taking to prepare for this virus and limit its spread. South Africa, with more cases than any other sub-Saharan African country, South Africa is barring entry to foreign travelers coming from or transiting through high-risk countries including Italy, Iran, South Korea, Spain, Germany, France, Switzerland, the US, UK, and China. Travelers who arrive from these countries since mid-February must report for testing. Those arriving from medium-risk countries like Portugal, Hong Kong, Singapore will undergo high-intensity screening. South Africans are advised to cancel or postpone all non-essential foreign travel. Let's go to Nigeria. Africa's most populous nation is from Friday, which is today, banning entry to arrivals from 13 of the countries worst affected by the virus. US, Britain, Germany, China also stepped up surveillance and preparing for the possibility of an influx of patients. Lagos, the biggest city with some 20 million people, could handle 2,000 cases, says Bamidele Mutui, who leads a regional biosafety team. Now, Kenya is suspending travel from any nation with reported COVID-19 cases. Only Kenyan citizens and foreigners with resident permits and UN workers will be allowed to come in, provided they proceed on self-quarantine, the government said this week.
And just to add to that, Kenya is also manufacturing its own hand sanitizers that will be distributed for free.
And then Uganda, President Museveni on Wednesday ordered the closure of all schools for 30 days to contain the spread of the virus. The country has not reported any case yet. They've also restricted travel to COVID-19 hit countries including China, South Korea, and Europe. Ethiopia, the Ethiopian Airlines said on its website that medic station at Addis Ababa International Airport, a key regional transit, will carry out continuous health screening 24/7. Government has closed down schools nationwide, offered to transport people on government buses to ease congestion on public transport. Rwanda, the country is flooding its capital with portable sinks for hand washing at bus stops, restaurants, banks, and shops. Schools, universities, churches, and courts are closed nationwide. Some flights are suspended. Sudan declared a state of emergency. Close all airports, land, sea, border crossings, all closed except humanitarian aid. Cameroon.
And then let me give you Chad, which has no case but has closed its borders.
Cameroon, from Wednesday, they will close their land, air, sea borders indefinitely. Government said in a statement on Tuesday, international flights will be grounded with the exception of cargo planes. Schools and restaurants will be shut. Gatherings of more than 50 banned. Liberia, they are applying lessons learned from Ebola. And they are trained more than 200 people as field epidemiologists and check for disease in all 90 districts. Senegal, Charlie, a lot. We have Senegal, we have Mauritania, we have Madagascar. I could tell you more and more and more. Finally, in Washington, let me just give you in the world, globally, two stories. California issues statewide stay-at-home order. So in California, nobody's going anywhere. And then the bad news is that Italy's death toll overtakes China, i.e., while China is coming down, Italy is going up. Although the good news is that for the second straight day, China did not have any in-country transmission or infection. We'll leave it here for now. There's more on this actually on the Citi Business Edition, where I'm speaking to a public health expert on coronavirus. That's from 7:10. But the newspaper review was also brought to us by Total Quartz. Make sure you use this to keep your engine
open the window
for longer.